Welcome back to the Great American History class, and in this episode we're going to have the video reading of an article done by PBS. PBS is Public Broadcasting System. It is going to be their New Perspectives on the West series, and this article is going to feature Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indians. Himatoyalakit was his Indian given name. Himatoyalakit means thunder rolling down the mountain. Chief Joseph would live from 1840 to 1904. The man who became a national celebrity with the name Chief Joseph was born in the Wallowa Valley in what is today northeastern Oregon in 1840. He was given the name Himatoyalakit, or thunder rolling down the mountain, but was widely known as Joseph or Joseph the Younger because his father had taken the Christian name Joseph when he was baptized at the Lapwai mission by Henry Spalding in 1838. Joseph the Elder was one of the first Nez Perce Indians to convert to Christianity and was an active supporter of the tribe's long-standing peace with whites. In 1855, he even helped Washington's territorial governor set up the Nez Perce Reservation that stretched from Oregon into Idaho. But in 1863, following a gold rush into the Nez Perce territory, remember gold was always a divisive commodity, the federal government took back almost 6 million acres of Nez Perce land, restricting the Nez Perce to a reservation in Idaho that was only about 1/10 of its prior size. Feeling himself to be betrayed, Chief Joseph the Elder denounced the United States. He destroyed his American flag and his Bible, and he refused to move his band from the Wallowa Valley in Oregon or to sign the treaty that would make the new reservation boundaries official. When his father died in 1871, Joseph would be elected to succeed him. He inherited not only a name, but a situation made increasingly volatile as white settlers continued to arrive into the Wallowa Valley of northeastern Oregon. Joseph staunchly resisted all efforts to force his band onto the small Idaho reservation. And in 1873, a federal order to remove white settlers and let his people remain in the Wallowa Valley made it appear that he might even be successful. But the federal national government soon reversed itself, and in 1877, General Oliver Otis Howard threatened a cavalry attack to force Joseph's band and other holdouts onto the reservation. Believing military resistance to be futile, Joseph reluctantly led his people towards the reservation in Idaho. Unfortunately, though, they would never get there. About 20 young Nez Perce Indian warriors engaged and raged. Unfortunately, they would not get there. About 20 young Nez Perce warriors, enraged at the loss of their homeland, staged a raid on nearby settlements and killed several white people. Immediately, the army began to pursue Joseph's band and the others who had not moved onto the reservations. Although he had opposed war, Joseph would cast his lot with the war leaders. What followed would be one of the most brilliant military retreats in American history. Even the unsympathetic General William Tecumseh Sherman, yes, that would be General William Tecumseh Sherman from the Civil War and Sherman's March to the Sea, who was now in the President Grant administration. Even the unsympathetic General William Tecumseh Sherman could not help but be impressed with the 1,400-mile march, stating that the Indians throughout displayed a courage and a skill that elicited universal praise. They fought with almost scientific skill, using advance and rear guard, skirmish lines, and field fortifications. In over 3 months, the band of about 700 Nez Perce Indians, fewer than 200 of whom were Indian fighting warriors, fought against 2,000 U.S. soldiers and Indian auxiliaries in 4 major battles and numerous other skirmishes. By the time he would formally surrender on October 5th, 1877 at Bear Paw Mountain in Montana, Joseph was widely referred to in the American press as the Red Napoleon. Again, that would be the Napoleon of France, who sold the United States the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. It is unlikely, however, that he played as critical a role in the Nez Perce military feat as his legend suggests. He was never considered a war chief by his people, and even within the Wallowa band of Nez Perce, it was Joseph's younger brother, Alicot. And if you watch the video movie closely, you will see Alicot is going to be killed in the battle at Bear Paw Mountain, who led the Indian warriors while Joseph was responsible for guarding the camp. It appears, in fact, that Joseph opposed the decision to flee into Montana and seek aid from the Crow Indians and other chiefs. Looking Glass and some who had been killed before the surrender were the true strategists of the campaign. Nevertheless, Chief Joseph's widely reprinted surrender speech has immortalized him as a military leader in American popular culture. Now, again, Chief Joseph did not speak English, so this is what was documented and recorded by those who were there, and ultimately we go with this as Chief Joseph's historic surrender speech at Bear Paw Mountain on October the 5th, 1877. Here are the words. I am tired of fighting. Our chiefs are killed. Looking Glass is dead. Tulahutsi is dead. The old men are all dead. It is the young men who say yes or no. He who led the young man, Alicot, is dead. It is cold, and we have no blankets. The little children are freezing to death. My people, some of them have run away to the hills and have no blankets, no food. No one knows where they are, perhaps freezing to death. I want to have time to look for my children and see how many of them I can find. Maybe I shall find them among the dead. Hear me, my chiefs. I am tired. My heart is sick and sad. From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever. So those are the good words of Chief Joseph as documented in his surrender at Bear Paw Mountain in north central Montana, just 40 miles from the Canadian border. Ultimately leading to the next segment. Joseph's fame did him little good. Although he had surrendered with the understanding that he would be allowed to return home, Joseph and his people were instead not allowed to go back to the Wallowa Valley or even to the reservation in Idaho. Instead, they were taken first to eastern Kansas and then to a reservation in the Indian Territory, which you all should know, of course, is the present-day state of Oklahoma, the same place where the Cherokee Indians and the Trail of Tears went to, where many of them died of epidemic diseases. Although he was allowed to visit Washington, D.C. in 1879 to plead his case to United States President Rutherford B. Hayes, it was not until 1885 that Chief Joseph and the other refugee Indians of the Nez Perce were returned to the Pacific Northwest. Even then, half, including Joseph, were taken to a non-Nez Perce reservation in northern Washington, separated from the rest of their Nez Perce people that were in Idaho, and also separated from their homeland in the Wallowa Valley of northeastern Oregon. In his last years, Joseph would speak eloquently against the injustices of the United States policies towards his people, and he would hold out hope that the American promise of freedom and equality might one day be fulfilled for Native American Indians as well. An indomitable voice of conscience for the West, Chief Joseph would die in 1904, still in exile from his homeland of the Wallowa Valley in northeastern Oregon. According to Chief Joseph's doctor, his cause of death, a broken heart. His cause of death, a broken heart. So today in the Great American History class, we give it up for Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce Indians. Remember, it was the Nez Perce who also helped Lewis and Clark in their most dire time of need, making their way through the Bitterroot Range of the Rocky Mountains on their way to the Pacific Ocean way back in 1804 to 1806. You remember the Lewis and Clark expedition. So let's give it up for Chief Joseph, the Nez Perce Indians, and as always, it's a great day to be an American.